this 8th of January. 1 week already gone in the new year. It's good to be with you for the first time this year, and it's exceptionally great to be able to be here after the year that we've had to share with my fellow Uniters and share with Jamaicans on a whole. So, as you can see, for those who have joined us before, streaming across all UIC platform, and just in case you didn't hear it before, let me just thank you again for sharing your Friday with us and ask you to, whether you're on our Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you are in social media land, just to like, share, and subscribe. Someone will find value in what we have going on. So, again, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you spending your Friday with us. UIC Liberty TV is glad to have you. So, as you can see, thanks to the urging of our Vice President for, sorry, Middlesex, Mr. Devon Thompson, we have added a name to this broadcast. So it's Town Cry. So it's UIC's Town Cry. And we all know what a town crier is, the guy that goes about town with a loudspeaker, a bullhorn, and just calling out what is happening in the community. So I'll be your town crier, calling out what's happening in Jamaican politics on a whole, alerting you to the changes to your rights and pointing out the UIC solution to the everyday problem that we face, to show you that the UIC stands ready to assume government and take you to the place that we need to be to create that constitutional republic that is clean, safe, and orderly, a place where all Jamaica can live, work, and retire with great dignity. So again, thank you for joining us. If you're on Facebook, just go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. If you are watching us on YouTube, go ahead, like, and of course, subscribe, hit the notification icon so that way you can see the great programs that are on UIC Liberty TV. There's UIC in the streets. You should be seeing that shortly. That's a very riveting program coming out of Middlesex. So please look out for that. So again, happy New Year, and it's good to be with you. I know this year is gonna continue to be challenging because of the kind of corrupt political system that we are living in, where we pander to one sector of the Jamaican economy and one sector of the Jamaican society. And it's the big money sector where the small man faces the squeeze without any consideration. We have a government who isn't responsive or considerate of everyone. It's only reflective of the large donors that has contributed to the political undertakings in this country. But we won't bemoan that. I just want right now to welcome you to another year. And we had started our review program before the end of the year, before we took that 2 weeks holiday. That the going on in Jamaica is taking on holiday, but we need to rest and recoup to be able to continue our work, our voluntary work on behalf of the people of Jamaica. So right now, we are not going to continue that program, even though we had the president, Mr. Joseph Patterson, on. And as usual, when he's on, the discussion is very riveting and scintillating, and he took us deep into the UIC policies to show us where we are going and to look at the Jamaican situation in the context of what could be better. So we are not going to continue with that. What we're going to move ahead with is continue to look at what is going on in Jamaica. Right now, one of the most topical things is the crew of the fishing vessel that is back in Jamaica after being in the custody of the US Coast Guard and after being taken from Jamaican waters as Jamaican citizens to the US under what is considered inhumane circumstances and subjected to harsh treatment, and was eventually acquitted by the US justice system, and then was continually subjected to even more degrading treatment before the illegal team here in Jamaica made an uproar and they were returned. Now, for most of us who paid attention to this, we can remember that the shipwright agreement came into being during the PNP administration, where the US wanted jurisdiction to be able to search vessels, ocean going vessels in Jamaican waters, on the Jamaican seas. And this is about what, a 200-mile area extending around Jamaica, that our waters would extend to, and they enter into an agreement with Jamaica to police our waters. Now, at that time, while I knew of the agreement, I couldn't wrap my mind around why we would want to have a foreign power police our citizens, one, and two, why we'd want a foreign power to patrol our borders, within our borders. And from talking to others, it was explained that because Jamaica is poor and we don't have the wherewithal and the manpower and the equipment to do it. But let's look at it. If we look at all the billions, millions, sorry, of US dollars that were lost, hundreds of millions of US dollars that were lost due to corruption, that's one place to plug the loophole. If our tax dollars were being properly spent, that's one way we could have afforded it. But let's put all of this behind us and look at the practical sense of it. The US, a country or neighbor that we trade with and work with on several issues, but and just like us, they have several problems. But fundamental to me is the fact that Jamaica, a former slave colony, ceded our legal responsibilities to our citizens to another country who we cannot hold accountable in any way for their actions, and who now on several occasions there is documented evidence of them destroying property belonging to our citizens arbitrarily without any legal judication or legal precedence to do so, and holding our citizens in condition akin to, based on the accusation, of course, akin to slavery conditions, feeding them spoiled food, shackling them in the elements on the deck of a ship. That sounds eerily similar to the Middle Passage. And Jamaica, our government that is there to provide one major, not the only one, but one of the major services to our citizens to protect us, gave us away like unwanted material to a foreign country to be mistreated. And from one time, we see this happen where our country does not stand up to represent its citizens who pay taxes and who work hard and contribute to the lives and career of these politicians that we put to represent us. But when we are in need of their assistance, they close borders and prevent us from coming home, or they turn us over to an abusive foreign power who is noted and documented to treat minorities, especially blacks, in a degrading, inhuman, and if not despicable way, with scant regard and great and great discord and contempt. Now, what can we do going forward now that we see all of this happening? The government has not come out and said that we will in any definitive way seek to address this. They have only been skirting around the issue, making slight statements, oh, it's something that needs to be looked at. The fact is they're all complicit in what has happened to these fishermen, and that happened to fishermen in the past, even those that have gone unreported. And as a matter of fact, the previous crew before this had reported they had no support from the government in their actions against the US for taking them, literally kidnapping them, because the actions were illegal by virtue of how they were treated. As a matter of fact, the government by itself has no authority, or should have no authority, to cede our liberty to another jurisdiction. We as an individual who are solely responsible for our lives and our personal liberty, our God-given rights, should be the one to say, okay, I will go into your jurisdiction to face the charges against me if we believe in their legal system. Right? So how can our government believe that they have not only the moral but the legal authority to say, okay, country X, you can come and take my citizen and try them? We need to look at how our governments are operating well outside of their reach, and Jamaicans on a whole, we do not pay attention to these things because we don't believe that it will affect us. But eventually, this small island, we will have a relative or a close friend that's something like this or similar to this, or this exact thing will happen to. And I urge us to be united in confronting these blatant disregard for our individual God-given rights by not only our government but foreign governments, and it starts by us taking responsibility for ourselves at home, demanding that those we put to serve us in government do exactly that and serve us by providing those basic common goods to us, which is protection within the state that we live, which includes our seas, which forms part of Jamaica's territory. And as a matter of fact, the government is doing a poor job in protecting us on land anyway because of this continued wastage. But let me ask a question. How can we ask a governmental system that has failed us for 75 years, that has plunged us into deeper poverty, deeper debt, the depths of crime by being complicit in the carnage that has happened in the country for decades? How can we ask them to fix the system? And it's a question that members of the UIC continue to ask. How can we ask these governments to fix the problems that they have created? They are complicit in it, so they will never be able to, because by virtue of their mindset and by virtue of how complicit they are in it, will never be able to bring a complete resolution or have the political will to do it. But the UIC stands ready to do that for you, return your God-given liberties to you. That is on the verge of being taken. Whether the issue is you being forced into political or criminal charges in another jurisdiction, or being forced into whatever untenable situation that you don't want to be in. The legal framework in Jamaica is inaccessible. It is only accessible to a few privileged persons of wealth and affluence, which is one of the other reasons why crime among less affluent communities is so high, because dispute resolution is poor, because the legal mechanisms to do that has been hidden from us. It has been kept out of our reach because the government would want to keep us believing that politics, law, and justice is the domain of only a few. The ability, the need, and the will to stand up for your right is only for the rich. And when you as a poor man stand up, you are being uppity. I say to you, my fellow Jamaicans, stand up for your right, whether you're looking at a policeman on the road, or whether you're looking at a JDF soldier on the road, or whether you're looking at an immigration officer or a custom officer at any one of our ports of entry. You, a Jamaican, has certain God-given right under the Constitution, and you should enforce, uphold, and protect them. They are very precious, hard fought, hard won, but easy to lose. Never, ever, ever lose sight of that. And I say that because, again, I see flagrant abuses of people's rights, simple steps. And when you allow them to erode those steps, you will never get it back. There are persons who hold government offices in the street, but they don't have certain authority, but choose to exercise it, and people just accept it. I'll give you a very simple case. When you're out on the street operating a motor vehicle under the present legal framework, as questionable as that framework is, only a police constable in the lawful exercise of his duty has the right to stop you, which is a form of detention because he's stopping you from going where you're going. That is how the law is currently set up. Give you justifiable reasons to see your paperwork, which authorizes you to drive your motor vehicle, operate your motor vehicle on the road. Okay? But I see other people doing the same thing without having the same authority. For example, a transport authority inspector will step out in the street and stop somebody's motor vehicle as if he or she is a police officer. But the Transport Authority Act does not give them that right. That is why there's always a police constable or police constables with them to exercise that function. And as part of the police exercising their duty, they will rely on these Transport Authority inspectors to do their job as part of their investigation of you operating a vehicle if it is believed to be a public transport, or if your vehicle is on the premises belonging to the Transport Authority, i.e. a transportation center, then they now have the right to come to you and look at your documentation to see if you have the right to be there and be operating your vehicle in a particular manner, as the way the legal framework is set up. I'm not advocating for the current system because the Transport Authority system needs to be revamped. But what I'm pointing out is that persons, because they hold office, assume powers that do not belong to them. And this is a common trend in Jamaica where we make rules up as we go along because we hold an office of authority. And this, my friend, needs to end. We need to educate ourselves as to what our rights are. We need to educate ourselves as to what the responsibilities of these agencies that are set up to serve us are, and hold them accountable to these standards. It's as simple as that. I've gone to a government agency to request a service that they are responsible for providing to me. And when I asked for the service, the customer service agent said, "Thank you for your request. I will pass it on to the manager." And I'm waiting for service. 5 minutes later, the manager turns up and starts interrogating me. And my question to her was, "Excuse me, the provision is for you to provide me with this upon my request. I am therefore making that request. Now, the information that you need to provide me with that service is in your system. I'm kindly asking you to go ahead." Her response, and just to be frank, her question was about my employment. Right? And while my employment is not in dispute or not in any way dubious, I didn't believe that, and I had no need for it. The requirement had no need for her to ask me about my employment because the information pertained to my taxes, which is in their computer system. So all they need to do is verify my identity and access that information and give me that report. And her retort was, "Since you're not answering my question, I will not serve you." And she and I had a great dispute about it. Naturally, I did not get service because guess what? She's the one that has to access the computer system, and I have no recourse in the system that is set up. But at the end of the day, I satisfied myself that I did not cede my rights to her, to privacy. I asserted my rights. I did get my document another way. But the point I'm making is this: let us understand our rights and stand up for them, Jamaica, regardless of which office we are facing, regardless of which servant of our people or land we are facing, because they are indeed that, regardless of what level they are, servants of the people of Jamaica. So, for the Jamaican government to turn over our citizens to the US, to destroy their boat, to shackle them to a ship, to drag them to the US, almost several hundred miles away, and charge them for a crime, is unconscionable that we allow that to happen to our citizen. Can you imagine if a Jamaican vessel did that to a US citizen or a citizen of any other country? Not because of our size, we are no less a man than anybody. No less a man, neither are we no less a country. And we need to demand to be treated with equality, but that will not happen when we pander to these so-called world leaders, when we allow them to look down on us, our country, and our citizenry. We need to stand up and be counted. We have contributed more to the world than they have. They have taken more from the world than we have. So I say to every Jamaican at home and abroad, every Jamaican, whether you are local or in the diaspora, to understand your rights wherever you are and stand up for them so that we can be respected like every other ethnic group. Be aware. The government, through its education system, has systematically dumbed down the nation. Right now, I hear teachers clamoring for exams to be tailored to the level of knowledge that the students currently have because of the government ill-advised lockdown, which has interrupted learning across the spectrum. Now, how does that serve the country when we dumb down the exam, in my own words, to match the learning level because we want to move the kids through the system? We do the country no favor. What we should seek to do immediately, instead of complaining for the past how many months, is hold the education minister responsible for putting in a practical system in place. As a matter of fact, the practical system is fairly easy. Other countries, including China, where this quote unquote pandemic, which necessitated the lockdown, originated, has people back in school and in class. And there are ways to do it, but instead of squandering the money on a piece of medicine that is And let me not get too deep in that. That may or may not be necessary. Let us focus on revamping our curriculum so that we can, one, get our students back up to speed, not dumb down the exam to match the level of learning, but get their level of learning back to the standard. We should be looking at standards, maintaining and creating them instead of discarding standards. Get our students back to a higher level of knowledge so they can transition through the system and therefore serve our community. We'll end up keep dumbing down the standards as they transition through the different level of education and end up damaging the national development drive. I beg of you to hold your principals, your education officers, and your minister of education responsible for making sure that the education system work for each and every child, regardless of your social status. Every child. Now, Jamaica produces a lot of clerks and lawyers, a lot of technocrats. The world is changing and we need to focus on science, mathematics, engineering. We need to change our focus. And that has not happened. And I'm not hearing the minister talk about that because guess what? They know what you know and what the UIC has been saying for all this time. Our education system, our political system, our justice system, all our public institutions that were bequeathed to us by our colonial master is broken. From the inception, it was skewed towards one group and to disenfranchise the other and needs to be revamped in totality. A new Jamaica needs to emerge from this, not one that is beholden to foreign governments or foreign donors or big money donors, but that truly understands that the country will continue to trend downward if we do not take development matters into our own hands. Instead of reaching for lofty ideals such as the UN Millennium Development Goals, we need to look at our local, national development goals and focus on those, creating engineers, creating technicians that can help build Jamaica. We need to focus on stemming the brain drain by creating a social system that allows inclusivity and opportunities for all. And the UIC stands ready to do that for you. Check out our website, uicjamaica.com. You will see our platform that outlines a very comprehensive set of steps that we will take to reform Jamaica by changing all these public institutions into very functional, practical, accessible ones that caters to all citizens across Jamaica, caters to you and every other citizen, regardless of your perceived social status. But time is limited, and we will have to talk about this. The town crier will be back to cry some more about this. But in parting, I want to say, our politicians have created the perception, and as I say, career politicians, those who get paid by us, taxpayers, hardworking taxpaying citizens, to represent us, but yet choose to do their wayward thing. And if you had an employee that did his own thing, you would fire. You need to fire your politician. It's not representing your interest. That is as simple as it is. And these politicians have made us believe over the years that politics is a special place that only a special select, God divine, the few can operate in. But yet they have proven to be inept, if not corrupt. And I'm saying to you that it is not a place. And the UIC, with regular Jamaicans at the helm, Jamaicans that are truly patriotic at heart, Jamaicans that truly believe that Jamaica can develop better and further, is here to serve you. And I'm saying to every well-thinking Jamaican that is out there that has shied away from the political sphere, I'm not saying you need to become a career politician, but I'm saying you are needed. The UIC needs you, your service. UICjamaica.com, and just simply send us an email. We will speak with you, interview you, and see where best your skills can be used in a voluntary manner to assist us in moving Jamaica forward. So if you are a true patriot, well-reasoned, well thought out, and you believe in the growth of this beautiful island, Jamaican land we love, go to the UIC website. Drop us a line. Let's talk. We need you. Island-wide, the UIC is on a drive to build its ranks, to fill its ranks. There are a lot of supporters out there for the UIC. The membership keeps growing on our Facebook page. The membership keeps growing through our website interaction. But what we're not having is a lot of volunteers to serve. And I'm saying to you, whether you're already a member, whether you're thinking about becoming a member, or whether you're just curious, let's talk and see where you can volunteer. Even if you're not looking to get into representation, there are other ways you can volunteer. We have several committees that are operating that we can use your skills on. And I would especially put out an appeal to any young lawyer, any young legal luminary, or any legal luminary that wants to come on board, because we definitely need your expertise in drafting several key documents. We have done most of the legwork already. We want to finalize several things to put into the public. This year we'll be coming out bigger and stronger. Our newsletter will be out. We're already on social media. We're revamping our website. Well, it has started already. So with the updated website and newsletter, we'll be doing several other pieces of program to bring more information to the people. The UIC is doing a lot behind the scenes, doing a lot of legal work, interfacing with a lot of government agencies and the government itself. But you will not hear about it because they choose not to highlight these things. And we are not looking for that kind of fame. The UIC, with hard working everyday Jamaican that has a 9 to 5, is looking to serve you. And we do that through several pieces of letter writing, requests access to information, etc. This information we use to craft policies to support the Jamaican dream that we want to create, a truly free Jamaica, Jamaica free from the kind of political corruption that has plagued us, that has become commonplace and normalized, because it is not normal. It is not normal to be looked down on by the world for being one of the most corrupt countries. This is a place that I live, and I'm not a corrupt individual. It's a place you live, and I know you have morals and ethics. Come join us. So thank you for spending your Friday morning with me. I was about to say Saturday. So thank you for spending your Friday morning with me. I appreciate the time. This is your town crier saying, join the UIC. The UIC Liberty TV is here to educate, inform, and the town crier is here to let you know what's going on. So like, share, subscribe across our social media pages, and of course think about how you can volunteer. Hop on our website, all the information that we have is there. And on Facebook, our executive core is readily available and engageable, willing to share the UIC vision with you, ready to answer your questions, ready to guide you to where you need to be, ready to enlighten and educate. Thank you again, and I'll see you next Friday.